before starting any engine, I always like to try and make sure it's got as clean oil as it can possibly have. So what I'm going to do is whip the tank off and give it a clean through, and the oil pipes, make sure they've got seals as well, because the bottom ones weren't even connected up. New oil filter. Obviously I've drained all the oil out that was in there. Have a look in the sump to check the primary chain, so I'll give that a clean out as well. Put new oil in. I'll run a little bit through just to try and drag any other sludge out. Then top it up with the right stuff and hopefully be ready for a start. I noticed that the pressure switch, which lives down here, wasn't working either, so I bought a new pressure switch, so I'll show fitting that and explaining how I would have tested it. Hope this is of interest to you, so let's give it a go. quick test for the oil pressure switch is to see if, as a switch, it would be switched on so that the light on your dash or on the warning panel is on. So switched on, it should have no resistance, no ohms as measured on this. Engine starts. This should then sense the pressure, which opens the switch, gives infinite resistance, the light goes off. If I test this one, absolutely it's not going to switch the light on ever. It's open all the time. If I test this one, goes down to 0, the light's on, engine starts, pressure starts up, the light will go off. That's a quick basic test to see if it's working. You can put a little bit of pressure to here off a hand pump or something and test to see if it does open up. Generally, when these fail, they fail with the switch not being open, so that the light's always off. So, you know, it's a danger that if the light's off all the time, you would think it was okay. So you do need to make sure the light comes on initially. It's been a little while since I've cleaned the oil tanks and put the pipes back on. Now I'm just going to put enough oil in so that it appears on the stick. I'm hoping, you know, on the measure, I'm hoping to turn the engine over on my freshly fitted starter so that the oil warning light, which I've freshly replaced, goes out, and just have enough in so it's showing on the dipstick so that when I'm ready for my first start. So I've at the point now I'll just pop some oil in. I'm putting in 2050 mineral based oil, nothing very fancy. You've got to be careful with the clutch, although I'm sure I'm going to have the clutch out before too long if it does start and run. It takes, I believe the oil tank takes 2 litres and the whole system takes 3.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 litres in first of all. That way it should appear onto the dipstick, it should fill the system, and I probably should just still have a bit left on when I've actually run it in. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you'll probably see what I do anyway. that's the oil filled up. I put some into the rocker cover, although I had already put a bit of oil on the rockers. One of the things that I read when I was looking into this was that the first thing the pump's going to do is fill the oil filter, and that can take it quite a while. I've seen some people saying it can take 2 minutes or even longer, so it could be a while before the 2 minutes are turned over on the starter. It could be a while before the light would go off, and it might not go off anyway until the engine starts. I'd have thought it might go off. It's very cold today as well, so I'm going to stop there. I think it's going to be okay. The level in the tank is going down slightly, so it's definitely feeding oil in. On the day that I actually start this, I'll probably have the heater on in here for a while to give it its best chance, and I would be checking to make sure the oil light and the oil's returning okay. So not much more to say. Let's move on to something else on the next video.